Okay, welcome back. Solo roll Mangging. Tales of Argosa, Lost City of Barakus. We still have yet to actually arrive at the Lost City of Barakus, but maybe in this video, maybe. We'll see. We have a setback, though. We made it out to the Duskmoon Hills, but proved to be a bit more dangerous than we thought. And we killed a giant worm. That was no problem. But then in the night, we got jumped by a few Grimlocks, and they attacked, because that's what they do. They have no thoughts in their head otherwise, according to this. And unfortunately, Bruce was sleeping, so he didn't have his plate armor on. And so he ended up nearly dying and losing his eye. So now we have to go back so he can get his eye fixed and restored. And hopefully not made worse in the process. But it's probably going to be some time before we make it back out here. I don't think there's a time limit for Fenton and finding him and stuff. He's been dead for like a year, so he'll keep. And we have no other... I mean, there was the thing that Jimmy Dean wanted us to do of dealing with the goblins in that tower and stuff. And I guess we could do that, but... I really want to get to this big dungeon rather than futz about with goblins in a tower. So, yeah, we'll see. It's a new day. We're in the Duskmoon Hills. But we are now going to be ignoring this once every hour thing, which is the most insane encounter rate I've ever heard of. For a hex crawl. And instead, we're just going to be rolling... on this table, we are saying that we're in the Borderlands. Except when we're specifically in the Duskmoon Hills, which only really matters at nighttime. So we'll roll every night if we're in the Duskmoon Hills camping out. But otherwise, yeah, we're in the Borderlands. It doesn't really matter. I mean... This table doesn't change too much. So really it's once per hex. And then at night, either 3 nights or once every night. But yes. We are going to head out of here. So we're going to go back this way. I think you could call this part of the Duskmoon Hills. But I don't think it technically is. So we're going to roll an encounter for the... I don't know if it counts as the farmland, grassland, riverbed. We're not technically on Trader's Way. But we're not in the forest either. So I guess I will roll the Duskmoon Hills for this specific situation. Alright, so a D100 roll. 75. That is going to be... Well, we have... Yeah, 75. So that's going to be 1d6 plus 1 hobgoblins. 2 hobgoblins. What are the hobgoblins doing, pray tell? Well, we're going to go to our encounter activity table, shall we? Because I have that for hobgoblins. And we're going to roll a D100 here to see what they're doing. 98. Trying to coach an ogre on the best position to take in battle. Okay. We're on the road. It's going to be hard to not see each other, you know, because they're probably on the side of the road too. There's 2 hobgoblins trying to coach this ogre. There isn't really... I don't think we can really hide too much from this. We can roll distance and stuff like that. But we're just on a road in, like, basically grasslands or maybe hilly area, but... Yeah. We are on horseback. I think we could probably pretty easy just ride past him if something started. So visibility in the wild, humanoid 1 to 9, 600 feet. Yeah, so we see these things like 600 feet ahead of us. Yeah, wilderness encounter distance table, I guess. For say it's like scrubland or rocky hills or something, or grassland. If you're in a steppe, 1,800 feet. But yeah, probably the average is 420. So 400 feet ahead of us, we see 2 hobgoblins and an ogre. And they seem to be in some sort of conversation, and they're doing like pantomiming like fighting maneuvers and stuff. All right, well, I guess probably we're just going to, so we're not going to like go all the way around or anything, but we'll keep a little bit of distance. And then if they make some sort of motion towards us, we'll just start galloping. So we'll roll the reaction roll now with Bruce's +2 mod. Actually, he's disfigured, so probably no mod, really. All right, 6. They're unsure of us. They probably can recognize that we're on horses and are going to just run if they try, so... yeah, they'll probably just glare at us and watch us as we trot past. But I think we're okay. Okay. Thankfully, horses are nice to have. Okay, that gets us... Well, we weren't technically on the road, but we were in the vicinity. Close enough. And like, it's basic grassland, so the point stands. So that was a quarter of the way. We're gonna go through another hex. Which actually, now that we say that, that's a harsher way of doing it compared to... Because once we hit the Traveler's Road, it says once every 6 hours. So Axe is actually a little harsher on that. But the problem with that is Axe... Well, no, because if we use... So say we're actually using now this table. Really, like, 1 through 56 is essentially nothing, you know? Like, it's... Well, really, 1 through 60 is nothing. And then combined with the fact that we're on horseback and stuff, probably, like, 1 through 70, the giant rats are nothing. The orcs can probably be avoided. The hobgoblins probably avoided. The ghouls... I mean, most of this is really nothing. I don't really even have to mention it unless situations arise that it's like... I don't know. Because we're on a road. It's probably pretty hard to ambush us unless they also have mounts or something. But maybe the wolves could chase us, but it's 1d2 wolves. They're not going to try to chase and ambush a pack of 3 horses, humans, a mule, and a cart. Like, that would be insane. So I think most of this is nothing. As long as you're on horseback. Which we are, for now. So really, we just have to roll on this table 3 more times for today. The first one is... So this is... We're not technically on Trader's Way yet, so that's going to be -5, so 64, which is the wild dogs. I don't think that's really going to do anything, even with 3 of them. I can't imagine they'll chase after us, like I said, so whatever. Another D100, 63, is the same dogs. They're following us. Hoping that we drop some food scraps or something. And you know what? Fuck it. Bellany's in a good mood and she likes animals. So she'll toss another ration off of the cart for them to fight over. And then the last one for the day. 38. That is going to be minstrels. A troop of 5 minstrels offer to perform a ballad or short play for 1 gold piece per character. If the characters agree to hear it, they may chat with the minstrels afterward and ask them questions about the local area. Alright, I mean, we're settling down for the day and setting up camps, so sure, we'll have them play for us. 3 gold. Again, like I said, Bellany's in a good mood. I don't know why. Maybe maybe there's a little schadenfreude about Bruce getting injured, and it's his face. You know, that tsundere attitude just creeping up on her again. Ask questions about the local area. Well, they're minstrels, so they probably heard some rumors. I don't think they really have heard anything that we haven't heard about the Lost City and the hills to the north and stuff. They probably could tell us a bunch of stuff about the politics going on in Endhome and things like that, but I don't really care. Right. We won't have an encounter tonight, so that's fine. And we're going to cook up some fresh food again. Let's roll his forage roll. All right. So Trixie doesn't have to eat a ration again, but we're probably gonna long rest anyways. I don't think I need to consume standard rations. But if we get into trouble, Bruce could benefit. Fucking no. We'll just eat iron rations. And that's it. Next day, we have, I don't know, where did we get to? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're like here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'd have to push it to make it to Endhome, but we might force march. I don't remember the rules for that specifically, other than it just said, like, you can force march. They can't undertake any ancillary activities. That's really it. Like, it's not the forced march that we usually expect from a game like this. Or from an OSR game, where forced march sounds like you're pushing yourself, you know. I mean, they are, but they're just, normally you have other times throughout the day to do other things. So it's not that you physically can't march for 12 hours a day. If I follow these rules, it's going to be rare based on Tales of Argosa rules. It's going to be rare that players wouldn't ever forced march, you know, because I don't really have ancillary activities and dedicated activities. Really all I could do is say you can't forage for food, but most players are going to give that up to move an extra 50% every day. So I don't think I can really follow this rules. Did Tales of Argosa itself have rules for that, for forced march? I don't think so, because I think it just has the one where if you get a great success as a guide, you get to move an extra watch. I don't think it had anything for forced march. Let me go ahead and look at the OSE forced march. Oh, right, you have to rest for a full day. That's certainly a little hefty. It's on the other end of the spectrum compared to Axe. And I don't think Shadow Dark's going to give me any. Oh, must pass increasing con checks to push further, but then it doesn't even tell you, like, what the con checks start at. Maybe just like 12 or 9 or 12. Yeah. I guess we could do it that way if we wanted to say for every hour you want to travel afterwards. Yeah, everyone in the group has to make a con check. And maybe it starts at like +2. Do I want to say hour or like a percentage of our movement rate? Percentage of movement rate might be easier to calculate, but then probably not. What would 1 hour of... Yeah, either way, it's a little tricky to calculate. You could do every mile, but then that's different. And it's also, it's tricky when you're mounted, because it's like, surely it's a lot easier on the riders compared to the mounts. So I guess the mounts are making the con checks. I guess that's fair. The mounts are making the con checks. In which case, you go to animals and look at a horse. They have a con of 16, which is pretty good. So they can push themselves a decent bit, most likely, but sometimes they just say fuck you and stop. Okay, that's probably the fairest way to do it. No matter what, it's going to be a math unless I say for every hex. But then that's way too much. I wanted it to be more granular than that, I guess. Yeah, but not even Axe goes that granular. Axe just says 50%, but then it would really be... I guess I could do Luck Con, but then that really fucks over the horses. Fuck. I want to decide on this. Maybe 10%. It's always calculatable, I suppose, relatively easily. Like, no matter what your expedition speed is, 10% is it's a pretty quick and easy number to hit. And as far as the actual map is concerned, that's trickier. It's going to be all ballpark and stuff like that. But it's easy to figure out the number, at least. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically, we wouldn't have had full speed before the road. Actually, the road is triple. No, the road is 50% extra more. So I already should have had 6 hexes per day on the road. So I don't think we even have to question this, really. And I shouldn't have taken that long. That should have been like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We should have gotten here day 1. Which means we never would have stayed the night at that thing, ever. And then 1, 2, 3, like 4, 5. We would have gotten in there by the end of the day. Which I guess we sort of did. But that's because we spent an extra day. So, no, okay. So then 1, like 2, 3, 4, 5-ish, something like that. And then here 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no problem. There's no question. All right, I think we're at the start of the day, so we're just going to be making 1, 2, 3. I forgot already, but we'll say 3 of these checks with -5. No, -10. 85. 1d4 orcs. Okay. 3 orcs. Let us also check the orc table. Better believe it's got an orc table. 4, what are they doing? Avenging a betrayal by former bandit allies. Okay. So they're like fighting some bandits or yeah. Well, they're either, for that to be occurring, they're either like about to ambush them or they're fighting or something like that. Like basically, we might just see a bunch of orcs like fighting a bunch of humans. We might actually help out the humans. Before realizing that they're bandits and they're bad dudes. They might, like, not want to fuck with us then, because we helped them out, but they're still bandits. They're going to go back to their bandit ways. For a paladin, that might be a bit of a moral dilemma. Okay, I think that's kind of interesting. I might have to make some oracle rolls here, decide how we react. But okay, let's see. Let's say... Yeah, same encounter distance. So like 400 feet out, we see some people. Or would we? They're bandits. Aren't they usually like hiding in ambush on the road. Like, yeah, they're probably waiting to ambush us. So we don't even see it, really. Which might change our thoughts then if we see this happening in the forest nearby. Okay, so maybe we make it a little more cinematic than that, and we see, like, 100 feet in front of us, a human guy, like, running out from the forest in a panic, and then suddenly gets, like, an axe in the back of his back. And we hear, like, you know, fighting sounds coming from nearby in the forest. I guess it's a question of would we immediately recognize them as bandits? Probably, right? I mean, bandits dress like fucking bandits. Look at this guy. This is not a merchant. This is a bad dude. Brigands maybe could pass off as like a soldier or something, but bandits, they're wearing dark clothing and hoods maybe, and you know, things like that. They don't look good. So I guess we'll give we'll make this a group intelligence check. Okay, she rolled a crit. And he succeeded, so no problem. I said I didn't want to do too many group checks, but we'll make that a group check. Okay, so they both sort of recognize that that's a fucking bandit, and there are bandits being killed. So we kind of like gallop up a bit ahead of Trixie and the cart. Trixie and Mixie. And yeah, so like just part ways into the woods there, we see a group of orcs fighting off and, you know, attacking a group of bandits. Would we participate is the question. No. It's not our business. Hopefully they kill each other and solve our problems. One less problem. So we're just gonna ride on. Yeah, I mean, I think that could have gone a different way. Could have gone a lot of different ways depending on player reactions. Perhaps I just did it as a group intelligence check. For player, if I was DMing though, they would have to ask, like, hey, what does this guy look like? Or maybe I would describe him slightly as he comes running out. And so it would be up to the players maybe to put it together that it's a bandit, but I still don't think it would be that tricky to do that. But they might still participate, and they might help out or something, because hey, you could rescue the bandits, and you could, like, you know, maybe have them as some allies. Like, yeah, they're bandits, but they don't have like some genetic disposition to just murder and crime and theft and stuff. They're just trying to survive outside the law. So, you know, if you give them money or something like that, or loot, I mean, they could be an ally. It's not impossible. It says here, even 15% of bandits who limit themselves to preying on the corrupt and dishonest count as neutral. The latter sometimes become folk heroes to the common people. Robin Hood was a bandit, for God's sake. Right. So that was the first one of the day. Yeah. So the second one, 70. That's going to be 1d2 wolves. Can't imagine. I mean, I could roll on the wolf encounter activity table, but I don't know how we would, like, be thrown into an encounter with these things. It's more, it would create an opportunity for role-playing or something like that. Which is why I like those encounter activity tables. So just out of curiosity, I guess, because we're looking at all these, I'll roll 81. Straining against crude harnesses of a goblin merchant's cart. Fuck, I mean, see, that's interesting now. That's a whole thing. Because we have, like, a couple wolves pulling a little cart owned by a goblin. and he's just, you know, riding down the road. And then suddenly you have like a memorable NPC in your game. Like, I don't know what he sells. It's probably not anything too pleasant. It's probably just like rat meat pies or some shit like that, but suddenly your little encounter with a wolf, you know, two wolves, which I would have just skipped over. And maybe if I was DMing even, I would have skipped over. It's like, yeah, they can just outrun them. It's like, no, you're going to encounter wolves in all sorts of situations. Some you've never even thought of. Like, I wouldn't have thought of that shit on my own. So, yeah. Just kind of wave at him as we pass, and this look of incredulity on our faces. But Bruce, he doesn't really want to stop for anything we don't actually. He's lost an eye. He's not happy. So, yes, we'll keep going. But, yeah, I really like that. These encounter tables are awesome. And last one for the day is nothing. All right. We arrive back in Endhome. It's not going to take us too long to just get to the Temple of Bahamut and get this fixed up for us. Like I said, I mean, I really think there would be a temple here, and I really do think they wouldn't have any problem, you know, using this on one of their own soldiers of God and all that. So 185 gold later, we will be right as rain. Well, he'll have to roll for that shit, but still. Yeah, there's some problem with this calculator app. Keeps doing that. 259 gold. I mean, 185 is not cheap, you know? The average sort of skilled laborer is going to earn 8-10 gold a month, maybe. So that would be like a year and a half of all of his wages just to, you know, restore his eye. So it's not really going to be available to them. But, you know, perhaps a master professional or a landed patrician or something, they might earn more than that every month. And you talk about a baron or something, I mean, that's getting to be chump change up at that level. And so I would imagine in a setting like this, then, wealthy people are never disfigured. Unless it's like some weird purposeful thing that they're just like, I want him to look at my empty eye socket, or, you know, I don't know. But yeah, at that baron level and up, or even really any like notable landowner of any kind is probably not going to be disfigured. Also, if you are a cleric that knows repair disfigurement, probably very easy for you to make cash. Although that's a funny thing, because it's like, you'd think your god wouldn't really approve of that, of just selling selling the powers that he has granted onto you to do his bidding, and you're just selling it to whoever comes along with money, no matter how despicable a person they might be or whatever. And I think DCC makes specific mentions about using your ability, your healing and whatever on people of a different alignment, or you know, for whatever, if your god doesn't approve, he might just take it away from you because he just doesn't like it. I mean, I think that's interesting, but it does specifically call out using your spellcasting services and selling them. Yeah. Anyways, so now we have to roll on the fucking trauma or whatever it is. The permanent wound table. Tampering with mortality, lawful. This is the table. So we have to roll a d20 plus a d6. But the d20 is modified by various things. All right. So he gets +2 because he's youthful, for sure. Well, actually, is he? I guess he is an adult. I think that's if you're not even, like, if you're under 18 or something. All right, so never mind. He gets 0 there. Half the level of the spellcaster casting the spell. +2. Okay, and then the soul, I think we're probably... I don't know. Maybe we're not ignoring that. It doesn't say to ignore it, so... His wisdom or his will modifier is 0, so that's nothing. And he has... Yeah, okay, so nothing. So really, we're looking at +2, -1. So we're at +1, and then whatever half the level of the spellcaster is. It's a level 4 spell. So the minimum level you could be to cast that would be 7. Okay, so +3. So we have a total of +4 on the d20 roll. All right, 19. That feels good. $19. I know, it's kind of hard to read. You open your eyes to a body made whole. You need 2 weeks of bed rest. Okay, and then the d6. 6. Hopefully that's good. You feel blessed by your god. You recover 1d6 days quicker than you normally would. All negative side effects are removed. God damn. Dude, Bahamut loves Bruce, man. Everybody loves Bruce. I love Bruce. That's why I got it. I had to have him recovered. I couldn't get rid of him. I love him too much. All right, so he recovers 2 days quicker. So 12 days of bed rest. Basically, it's 2 long rests anyways, but if we were tracking specific days, which you should, it's 12 days. All right. That's fine. So now we have to calculate how much this is going to cost us, because we're staying at the nicer place here. Because of course we are, the Black Sheep Inn. I think we said we wanted to get 3 rooms, but now Bruce is probably not so sure. That gets a little pricey. Okay, so 3 gold. All right, so 9 gold times 12 would be 108 gold. That's pretty pricey. We're not flowing in money anymore. And just spending that on rooms is a little... So Bruce is going to explain the monetary issues and say that we're probably going to have to share a room. I think, well, I mean, we could go to a lesser inn, I suppose. And mechanically, it's all no difference. So I guess he'll mention that. They can either all share a room at the Black Sheep or get separate rooms at the King's Road Inn. What does Bellany want to do? Let's roll an oracle. Does she want to stay at the Black Sheep? She sure does. She'll put up with Trixie. She'll share a room. She just loves the creature comforts of this place too damn much. So we're staying at the Black Sheep together. So that's 3 gold times 12, which is a hell of a lot less. 36 gold for us. The meals. Yeah, we're not going to be getting that 6-course meal every night. So it's going to be the less extravagant fare in the lower dining room. Which is still pretty good. It includes a 40-foot long bar from which all drinks are served in silver or crystal. I mean, it's a pretty nice place. So that's also 3 gold times 12, because we only eat 1 meal a day. Don't question it, that's what we do. So that's 72 total. $187 gold. Alright, is what it is. We also have to pay for the stable. which I don't think they mentioned how much that costs. Unless it's included in the room price, which could be why it's not mentioned. I think... Well, that inn we encountered on the road definitely did. And I also forgot that that existed on our way back. Horses can be stabled at King's Road for 2 silver per night. Alright, and the other place probably might not even have stables. So we'll keep our mounts here. So that's, is that per horse? It's probably per horse, so that's 8 silver per night. So it's 8 times 12. 96 silver. 9 gold, 6 silver. We'll give him just 10 gold as a tip. Alright, yeah, staying at nice places. Not cheap. But eventually we should be swimming in so much money it doesn't even matter. That's the hope. Alright, Bruce is back. Fighting fit, ready to rock. Belony's ready to rock. And so we set out once again. Okay. Alright, again, we're on the road now, so that's 6 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can get to here. We could stop it here so we don't have to camp on the side of the road. But it does cost us more money. And slows us down a little bit. So then it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'd be on the edge of the hills here. I guess that's fine enough. Alright, we'll stay at that inn. Okay, so then the first day... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we'll roll 4 times. Okay, and it's plus 10. No, minus 10 to the roll. That's nothing. That is going to be something, 71. 1d3 giant bees. Do I have an encounter table for giant bees? Actually, I think I do. I have one for insect swarm. I could have sworn there was one for bees. Yeah, I don't think it was called bees. It was called something though. There was definitely one for bees. Come on, there was one for bee. Killer bee. Okay, we have 1d3 killer bees. 2 of them. What are they doing? 92. Transporting secret messages between forbidden lovers. What? Okay. Wow. I don't know if this is specifically giant bees, though. This is the OSE killer bee. So if we go to here... Okay, killer bee. They are giant 1-foot-long bees. I imagine that's what Axe is going to tell me they are. Yeah, about a foot long. Okay, so yes, they are. They're about foot-long bees, which is pretty terrifying. We just see them sort of flying through the air above us. It's pretty terrifying. But yeah, I mean, they don't even look at us or approach or anything. They just keep buzzing back to end home or something. I don't know what they're doing out here. It's also one of those things, it's like, how would a player know? Let me try another one. I'm fine sticking with it because I want to get to the dungeon, but I just want to see. Bewildered by a cherry dryad's bouquet, blundering boozily. Okay. That could also be kind of funny, of just, you see these, couple of these giant bees just kind of sort of hovering and floating around near the trees a little bit, and they look like they're bobbing up and down, and they kind of bump into the tree or something. Like, that would just be like, yeah, as players would be like, what the fuck, what, you know? Do we investigate? They're bees? I don't know. We don't want to fuck with the bees, but it's kind of weird. Yeah, I love these tables. All right. So that was the first one. No, that was the second one. Third one, 85. It's going to be more orcs again. 2 orcs. Okay, we'll keep going with these tables because I like just looking at them. What are they doing? 60. Patrolling the edge of their territory, ruefully examining tracks. Yeah, it doesn't really make too much sense along the road, so let me roll a different one. 21. Escaping from a collapsing tunnel, supports eaten by termites. Also doesn't really make much sense. Not all of them will. You know, it is what it is. Xenografting portions of a giant crab onto their bodies. The hell? That's wild, man. That's out there. Outsmarting a hill giant, trading copper for silver. Oh god, I don't think I want to put hill giants in the region. So probably not. Most of these aren't going to make too much sense, I'll admit, for just this road. But some of them worked. I mean, with the thing with the bandits was kind of interesting and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of them are more going to be just like the open wilderness where anything could conceivably happen. Most likely it's orcs trying to ambush people on the road. And I'll agree with that. But there's only 2 of them. I could do the thing I did before where they're like just scouting it out, but I think it's probably just 2 of them hoping to pick off like that goblin merchant or something like that, you know, somebody, you know, just a dumb person that's out here by himself, or maybe 2 people. I can't imagine they would attack a group of 4 or 3, well, 3, although only 2 are armed. Maybe they would. What's a reaction roll modified by Bruce, who has +2? 7. Yeah, it's middling. So they probably just don't like the look of Bruce in his plate armor and stuff, so they'll lie low. If I were DMing, of course, I'd give a perception check. Like a group perception check to see if they notice the orcs watching them. But in this case, I mean, what's really gonna... I either notice them and Bellany shoots them again and blah, 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 or we don't notice them, we keep going, so let's just keep going. That was the 3rd one. I think? It's hard to keep track. I think that was the 3rd one. We'll roll one more. 30. I think that's nothing. Okay, no encounter. We stop at the inn for the night, and that's Roscoe's Inns. We have the Penpre Forest Inn. So that's going to be 3 rooms. 3 gold. Let's see. 4.3 gold. And 5.5 gold. Is that that can't be right. I thought I calculated this to be more even. No, 2.3. That's right. 5.3. 6.5. I don't know. I'll give him 7. Fuck it. We're generous. We're generous people. We don't need to roll anything. We don't need to spend any rations. We just bought our food, so blah, blah, blah. And now we continue on the next day. 1, 2, 3, 4 for the road for this table. Yeah. First one. 81. 24 orcs. Oh my god. It's just the same shit. And it's 2 of them again. If it was 4, I think we probably would lean towards an attack. But it's the same thing. Maybe they're following us again. 36 is the minstrels again. We'll just wave at them as we pass. Although they're probably going to get killed by the orcs. Yeah, okay. 64, so 54 is a hanged man. Swinging eerily from a tree, no more than a few days dead. A Speak with Dead spell reveals he was lynched by an angry mob for an atrocity which it turns out he did not in fact commit. Well, we don't have Speak with Dead. Will Bruce bother burying him? Maybe. He's more the vanquish evil kind of paladin rather than the, oh, I must pay respect and bury this man and say a prayer. So I'd probably lean towards no. So that's that. We just, maybe. No, it's Bruce. He's not even gonna say a prayer. He's be like, yeah, that's a bummer. All right, last one. 36 is 26. That's nothing. All right, so then we go off the road and we're heading into the hills. So we're gonna do one roll for the daytime hills. So this is just straight D100. 26 is nothing, thankfully. And then yeah, I guess we'll camp for the night. See, this is where I probably would tell the DM, like, we want to spend some time to look. Well, it's still daylight out. We want to spend some time to look for a spot where it might be our campfire or something might be less visible. If we can find a little nook or something. In the hopes that we, might get some sort of bonus or some sort of alleviation of any random things that stumble upon us. So I'm gonna have yeah, we'll do a group wilderness lore check. I know, now I'm busting out the group checks again. But it feels appropriate. And we definitely succeed. So we find a good spot. Sort of tucked into the side of a hill. Maybe there's some trees there or something like that. Like just a little cover so our campfire isn't seen across 1,000 feet away or whatever. So I'm actually going to give a -10 to our encounter roll. So, well, maybe it should be more than that. All right, -20. So really it's a -15 because of the +5. So -15 for our nighttime. That brings us down to 31. Travelers. A group of travelers, either heading to end home on Fool's Pass or lost off Fool's Pass. The group is comprised of 2d4 normal humans. Okay. We're not on Fool's Pass, so they are very lost. Damn lost. Maybe too lost. Get the fuck out of here. We could ignore this result if I don't deem it, because really, I mean, if they're lost in the Duskmoon Hills at night, in the middle of the night, really, they're not probably normal travel. They're probably like werewolves or some shit trying to eat us. I guess I could play it out like that. So I either rule that it doesn't make sense, or I lean into the fact that it doesn't make sense. It's one of those things that I guess it would be fun to put towards the players and just see how they react. And if they're just like, yeah, sure, you can sit with us and, until daylight, but we'll give you directions, but we're not going back that way. Or if they're like, we don't trust these fucking people at all. And they're just like inspecting them and like, I don't know, man. I don't know, what are you doing out here this late? Yeah, so an interesting thing if I was DMing, but not so interesting solo unless I purposefully make it hard on myself. So we'll just ignore that one. The night goes by, and we do have to eat rations this time. We'll just eat... Yeah, I mean, standard rations are cheaper and they take up more space, so they really should be consumed first, which is kind of the point. You might want to save them until you're injured, though, and you need the recoveries. Especially if you have a mule and a cart or something, and it's just like, who cares about space? Which is why space isn't usually the issue here. It should be that they go bad quicker. But we're not playing like that. But yes, I guess for the sake of role-playing, we'll eat our standard rations. Oh, wait, he didn't do his wilderness lore for foraging. Okay, terrible failure. So he has to actually roll to see if he gets sick off some berries he ate. Which is going to hurt his luck if he succeeds. He did succeed, but at least he's not sick. Great. Alright, next day. So now, we're going to search this hex. The Q hex to see if we find any caves. So now this is going to be a roll on the Duskmoon Hill thing every hour. So every hour we search. And again, we're going to use the axe searching rules. And we'll just do the normal thing. So 13 or higher, we succeed. So first, let's see if we succeed. We have one roll. We need a 13 or higher. We don't. So now we're going to roll the random encounter, which is 58. Battle scene. The party comes across the remains of a battle. The bodies of 2 humans and 3 orcs sprawled in various death poses. Their bodies have been stripped. Okay. Fascinating, but not really of much value. Let's search again. Ooh, we found it. Let's have one more roll, though. 75. That is going to be 1d6 plus 1 hobgoblins. 7 hobgoblins. Oh, what are they doing? 54 on the hobgoblin table. Looting a burned caravan for any salvageable supplies. We're in the middle of the hills off-road, so it doesn't really make much sense. We'll roll again. 2. Allowing a defeated enemy army to return home. No, this isn't an army, so no. 26. Defeating a group of heavily armored knights led by a paladin. I can't imagine 7 hobgoblins would accomplish that, or they really shouldn't. Heavily, well, if we assume chainmail. But they're knights, they should be mounted. Maybe we find their mounts dead or something, but it's really hard for hobgoblins to ambush out here, so I can't imagine. We'll get something that makes sense. Foraging spicy herbs to augment the flavorless fare of their rations. There you go. Okay, reaction roll. Modified by Bruce's charisma. Pretty middling. And again, it's really hard to sneak here, so especially because we're on horseback. And we have a big cart and mule and stuff, so we come over a hill, and yeah, like 400 feet away, we see the hobgoblins. We see them, like, picking herbs. You know, and there's 7 of them out in the field, so maybe only a couple of them are actually picking herbs. The bitch job of the group. The rest are just kind of leaning on their spears and conversing. We see them, they see us, and they are wary, so they immediately, like, straighten up. They get into, like, a fighting position. Like, they're, you know, hobgoblins are very militant, so they get into their kind of fighting formation. Yeah, phalanxes and all that. They're not going to charge. They're playing defense. We're on we're mounted. They outnumber us quite a bit, but, you know, we can outrun them. And they're not dumb, you know? Like, they're not mindless animals who are just like, I see something I must kill. They're intelligent humanoid creatures. Not super intelligent or anything, but they're rational enough. They are smarter than their diminutive cousins, the goblins. So, yeah, they're just on defense to see if we charge them or something. I can't imagine we would charge them, because we're just trying to find these fucking caves and not fight a bunch of, a group of 7 hobgoblins in a phalanx out in a field somewhere. Especially because of that battle scene we just came across. It's like... And Bruce is a little wary after losing his eye. He doesn't want to repeat. those spears look pretty sharp, you know. So probably we're just gonna go around them. But, I mean, you could converse with them, and I think that's something my family just, like, hasn't really learned too much. Is, like, anything that says sapient, you know, you can talk to them. Maybe they don't speak common. It's possible they don't speak common. Yeah, I mean, I do wish that this stat block and everything included language. Sometimes they do include it in the description, but not always. Here, I don't see any mention of language. Oh, that's in the beast. Oh, right. I keep forgetting that is in the Beastman here. So Beastman Warrior has a 10% chance of speaking common. Right. So if we roll 7d10, and if there's any ones, no, none of them speak common. But a champion has a 10% chance per hit dice of speaking common. And every gang's led by a champion with 2 hit dice. So one of them has a 2d10 chance of success. No, okay. So none of them speak common, so even if we tried, they would just grunt at us or whatever and speak their goblin beastmen language. So we're just gonna ride past, keep an eye on it, keep our distance, 400 feet or whatever. And that's fine because we found Area Q, the Painted Cave. So we find it not long after. Hidden behind a small copse of trees is a 4-foot diameter cave entrance leading to a small dungeon complex. This complex is only guarded by physical hazards and a curse, yet contains a powerful weapon against the undead. The cave itself once served as a shelter for a primitive people and was used as a burial ground and sacred ritual spot. Once entered, Torchlight reveals intricate stone etchings and highly detailed cave paintings depicting warfare, hunting, and even marriage rituals. No one has entered this cave for hundreds of years, as a localized landslide exposed the tunnel entrance to the outside only recently. The entrance opens into a 30-foot long, 15-foot wide cave passage ending in a sinkhole. The sinkhole drops deep into the bowels of the earth. Warm air can be felt blowing up the hole from below. The ground inside the cave makes crunching noises when walked upon. Examination of the floor reveals that hundreds of bone fragments are mixed with the sand and gravel that make up the floor detritus. Okay. So we have ourselves a little cave dungeon. And we were sent out here to look for a cave, so we assume we found it. Very hidden, but we found it. Alright. So, we are going to go in. Trixie is going to light the lantern. We're going to hide the mule and cart amongst this little copse of trees. Should keep it relatively safe. I still want to come up with some rules for what to do about a mule or a horse, whatever you leave outside a dungeon. I'm sure there are rules people have come up with. I suppose it really should just... You could have it make its own random encounter checks, in which case, you know, if we follow what we have been doing, that's basically like once per day. Well, I mean, resting stationary day, unless you're in an unsettled territory, that's once every 12 hours. Like, unless you're in the most wild of territory, you really never roll if you're just sitting there during the day. So, it would be maybe a little harsh to enforce that, but maybe it's too easy to just let that happen, because that means your mule will never be touched ever. So that's probably not the way to go. It shouldn't be that common of a thing, even though maybe it should be that common of a thing. I mean, you could roll, like, I don't know, a d6 every hour they're in the dungeon. And if you roll a 1, you roll a random encounter, you know? But maybe that's too harsh. Maybe it should be a d10. 1 and 1d10. That's maybe fairer, right? A little bit fair. It's pretty unlikely. 10% chance every hour you're in the dungeon, I think is fairly... fairly generous, and we could make it, we could change that. It could be 2 in 1d10 if it's really a more dangerous area, or you're just out in the open, or maybe 3 in one, d10. Or if if you took effort to kind of hide it, maybe it's a d12 instead. Or if you have a lot of food, maybe it's a d8 or something. I mean, who knows? There's all sorts of stuff. But I guess, yeah, I'd probably base it around the hour. Right. So we'll come to that when we get to that if we spend an hour in here. But we're going to light the lanterns. We're at 24. And we go in. The sinkhole drops down over 200 feet to a small geothermal pool. Climbing down the sinkhole requires a rope unless a thief. Strange molds and lichens of bright colors grow along the edges of the sinkhole. One patch about 50 feet down is a bright foam-textured red mold. The mold can be easily avoided by anyone on a rope. Anyone free climbing must pass through the colony to progress down. The pool is sulfur-rich and gives off noxious gases. A save is required for each round spent in the sinkhole to avoid nausea. Anyone that is nauseated while climbing in the sinkhole must make a save or fall into the pool below, taking 1d6 minus 1 damage per 10 feet fallen, and heat damage is described below from the boiling water. There's a 10% chance per hour that a particularly toxic batch of gas is extruded. Treat it as a cloud kill spell, affecting anyone inside the sinkhole. Hidden along the wall 40 feet above the pool, 160 feet down, is a 3-foot diameter tunnel entrance. Due to the noxious fumes and steam, a secret doors check must be made by someone within 20 feet of the entrance to notice it. Okay. 200 feet is pretty fucking far. That is quite the dilemma. I don't even know if we have 200 feet of rope. Do I have not? Wait a minute. I don't have any rope? That's not correct. Okay, I have 50 feet of rope. Jesus. Well, I guess we could attempt to free climb down, but that seems really dumb. So, I think we may have been stopped in our tracks already. Oh, also, put your armor back on, dumbass. Also, I didn't buy a shield. Okay, retcon that. He definitely bought a shield again, but I can't afford a masterwork anymore. So it has to just be a normal shield. All right. Well, then we just can't. Yeah, I'm not free climbing. I just think that's really dumb. Even if I didn't know what it does, free climbing down a sinkhole with no rope leading back up is monumentally stupid. And I wouldn't trust Trixie to free climb if her life depended on it, which it would. So sadly, this is going to be a later thing. And we're going to head back out. All right. That means that we're going to now travel to a different hex. We just assume that we found everything in this hex, I guess. So we can go west, northwest, northeast, or east from here. So we will roll a d4. Okay, it's going to be east. So we're going to roll one more roll for while we're traveling. 33. We find travelers. Okay, we're in the day. They are very lost. I don't really want them to travel with us, even though we could offer that as a possibility, but we're heading into supposedly a deep, dark cave dungeon thing. So they probably don't want to travel with us, but they're also probably fucked. So we'll just give them directions and wish them well. A better person than Bruce maybe would have helped them out more, but What are you going to do? All right. How much time have we spent here? 2 hours searching. No, we also traveled, didn't we? Or we spent the night. Yeah, okay. So we searched 2 hours. We just traveled to another hex, which shouldn't take too long, right? We're just in hills. So 2/3 speed, which would be 2/3 of 20. About 13 point something. We're traveling 5 miles, so it's half of the so it's like what, 3 hours we spent traveling. Okay, 3 hours we spent traveling, so 5 hours total. So it's about noon, and now we're gonna start searching this hex. So we search for an hour. 13 or higher. Nope. Encounter roll is 40, which is going to be a campsite. A 2 or 3 day old campsite on the hillside. Okay, we'll assume it probably belongs to those travelers we found. So now it's about 1 o'clock. Technically, we have till 7, really, as far as daylight is concerned. And technically we're walking around constantly, or our horses are walking around constantly, but it's not quite as strenuous as a march. I don't think there's a limit to searching the wilderness. Well, you are limited, I think, to 4 ancillary activities a day. I think. Maybe you can do more than that. I'm not going to get into it. What were we doing? 40. Oh, yeah, we found the campsite. All right. So it's like 1 o'clock. Right, so our second search roll. We succeeded. We also rolled a 94, which is 1d3 ghouls, night only. We're fine. Okay, so we found a new thing. Huzzah, it's L. The Grumbling Cave. Another cave. The following caves are lair to a fire drake, as well as a natural trap. The referee should check the character's total weight before this area is explored. Great. The narrow opening to the entry passage is only a 4-foot by 4-foot hole in the hillside. If the party is for some reason specifically looking for cave openings in this area, then they find it automatically. Well, I probably should have looked at that first, because we are looking for cave openings in this area. Beyond the cave mouth is a low, narrow passage, large enough for a man-sized creature to crawl through, 1/4 movement. Small creatures may pass through the tunnel normally. Crumbling floor. Checks are made each round that the characters move in the cave. If the floor crumbles, characters are allowed to save to see if they can grab hold of the floor before they fall through. Those characters that do fall drop 15 feet and suffer 2d6 HP falling damage. Okay, so our total weight of the character, I assume, or is it the party? I think it's the character. The problem is, in Axe, every character, no matter what, weighs 150 pounds minimum, not to mention their gear. Technically, most of this stuff, yeah, with plate armor alone, Bruce weighs over 200 pounds. Also, I don't really get this. Why is over 200 pounds listed 3 times? Why is this all listed 3 times? Oh, because it's also based on your encumbrance? No. Oh, no, it's based on how fast you're moving. Okay. Well, yeah. It's really a question then of, do we realize that the floor is thin? This will be an individual perception check. She succeeded. He very much succeeded. Excellent, Bruce. So they both realize pretty quickly the floor is quite thin. And could fall through. He's not about to ditch his plate armor, though. That would be insane. So we're just going to walk as slowly and cautiously as we can. Yeah, there isn't much for it, you know. Bellany really shouldn't weigh over 200 pounds based on most logic. But I think she probably does. Her longbow is 10. Her scale armor is actually lighter, so it's 20. If I'm being generous at the minimum based on axe numbers, she's 180. So, alright, we'll count it as this. Well, she's more than that, but not that much more than that. Under 200, we'll count it. So we're going very slow, but it's still iffy. And we have to go by rounds here. 1 square is 5 feet. We never have... with Tales of Argosa, I never think about how fast they can actually move per round. Because Tales of Argosa doesn't really care. But I guess it does have that number, because we can move near. We can move close per round, for one movement. So we have a 30-foot movement rate. Alright. So we're going very slow, which means that we can move up to half that speed. So 15 feet per round. Technically, though, you know, that's your combat speed, not your actual expedition speed, which is a different discussion. But since these are 5-foot squares and this is sort of a tense situation, probably you would use your combat speed over your exploration speed. Which I can never find that chart. Here it is. So, your exploration speed is 90 feet per turn. Yeah, we're not basing this on turns. This is based on rounds. So, yeah, 15 feet per round. Which means that we can move 3 squares. It's hard to say where this starts. If it starts here, if it starts like here. Technically, it says L2, the wide cave. Okay. So we'll say it starts here. So we can move like, how many rounds is it going to take then to just go across? 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds to get to this L3. But there also says that there are a number of holes in the floor that require dark vision to notice, assuming, of course, they have an adequate light source. What a weird thing to say. So we don't even see the holes if we don't have a light? Or we don't even see the holes if we do have a light? Doesn't that seem weird? The cave beneath this area is roughly the same dimensions, though with a higher ceiling, 15 feet. It contains the body of an ogre and 2 orcs. On the body of the ogre and orcs can be found 45 silver, a diamond nose stud, and a +1 shield. Ooh, I would love it. Bruce would fucking love it. He almost wants to fall in if he knew that. Alright. We do have to count Trixie, as much as I hate to say it. You are bringing another person into a fragile environment. I can't ignore her existence, so we could leave her behind, and Bruce could carry the lantern instead of a shield, which I think is what we're going to do. So she'll stay with the mule, and he'll ditch the shield for now and carry the lantern. All right, let's start going across. First round. If I roll a 1 to 25, then Bellany falls. She's fine. If I roll a 1 to 35, Bruce falls. He's fine. Okay, we've made it part way. 3 squares in. Next 3 squares. Bellany. Fine. Bruce. Fine. Okay, we're good. So we're like halfway through now. Third round. Bellany. Fine. Bruce. Fine. Oh my god, the numbers keep going up. And lastly, fourth round. Bellany. The numbers keep going up. What the hell is happening? Bruce. Oh, okay, but he's still fine. Oh my god. Alright, going slow and steady paid off. A single fire drake resides in this cave. He attacks anyone that enters, but prefers to surprise intruders in area L2. The cave contains bones and a pile of dirt the drake uses as a bed. The drake prefers to attack an area L2, hovering above the floor while the characters risk dropping through it. He uses his breath weapon at every opportunity. Alright, so the drake... Hate the drake. He is hovering above the floor. It's a fire drake, which I don't really know what that is. It hovers? It can fly? I don't have a stat block in here for a drake, although I do have a salamander. How many hit dice does this thing have? 4. But it does have a breath weapon. That's not really... That's not what this is. Yeah, it's not a dragon, and I don't think I want to use a dragon stat block. Although I could just reskin it, but I think their dragons are pretty nasty. They're really involved. It's a big thing. Like, dragons are meant to be sort of involved. I mean, you could put a very young dragon, but even that, it weighs 1,500 pounds. And has spells and stuff. It's just not correct. So I guess we're gonna... I mean, I guess I just picture like a little smaller wyvern sort of thing. We don't even... Oh, we do have wyverns. They don't have a breath. No, it's a very weird thing. I'm not sure what to think. Definitely there's no fire drake in here. I could pull up my sword and wizardry rulebook. Okay, just a second. Let me pull that up. To find that somewhere. Where did I put that? Where did I file that under? Of course not sword and wizardry. Okay. All right. Let's see. Spell the bestiary, monsters, drake. I thought they'd have an image, but we'll get a description at least. Dragon. Dragon turn. No, they don't have. Okay, this is like a new original thing that you just made up. I don't like that. Yeah, I mean, it's a wyvern, I guess. It's a wyvern with a breath weapon. Call it a day. I suppose. I mean, I don't like when they just make stuff up without proper descriptions. Alright, anyway, so it's got 4 hit dice, 20 hit points, 15 AC is pretty high, D6 bite attack, it can fly, and it has breath weapon 5 times per day, 40-foot range, 2d8 points of damage. It has pyrophoric blood, so 1d3 points of damage from splashing blood drawn with edged or pointed weapon, a save to avoid. And it resists magical fire 15%. 50%. Oh, it's from the Tome of Horrors complete, my bad. Alright, so it's going to try to ambush us, so it's going to be a perception check, and again, we'll make it an individual one. She failed completely. He failed completely, so it's going to burn us. And it's going to hit its breath weapon. It can use it every round, really. So it's going to catch us both in it. I imagine we get a save for half, although it doesn't say that, but that seems like fairly standard. Yeah, blast saving throw. So we'll get a luck dex roll here. This is going to count against our luck. Bruce succeeded, so he'll take, what, half? Is that what it says? Half damage, yeah, okay. And then Bellany. She does not get the +2 from her ring. It's just a normal roll. She succeeded. Alright, so it's half of 2d8, which is still pretty nasty. Could be extremely nasty. Alright, 4 damage to each. It's not too bad, but we get singed. We sort of hear the hiss and dive out of the way. Alright, and then we see it sort of just hovering up there. I don't know how we didn't hear it, like, flapping of its wings or something. I don't know, maybe it's clutching the wall. I don't know. It's a wyvern. We failed initiative because Bruce has never succeeded on initiative. So that means it's probably going to breathe its breath again, because why wouldn't it? But it's going to target just one of us, because we dove in different directions. It's going to target Bellany, which is fucking terrible. She's going to roll Dex. She succeeded again. So she takes 5 more damage. She's getting burned, man. But it's her turn. We really gotta land some hits here. And she's definitely gonna be using sharpshooter if she hits. Alright, she rolls. That is the hit. Okay, she's gonna roll sharpshooter then. So she just has to roll a perception check. Terrible failure. Okay, then that's ignored. So she just did 5 damage. So it's down to 15 health. And she rolls a d12 on the missile trauma table. An 8. Pretty good. And again, if it doesn't make sense, we will just add a d6 of damage. 8 on missile trauma is explosion. An explosive item, fire pot, powder bomb, etc. on or nearby the target is detonated by the attack. If inapplicable, re-roll. Yeah, I guess they could say that text every time. I'm ignoring that text, though, for all of them, and we're just going to add d6. 4 more, so she did 9 total. It's at 11. Bruce is going to... he's going to charge it. Now, he's got his lantern in one hand, so he can't two-hand it. But he's going to charge, so he gets +2 to the roll. And a specific trait that I think I've ignored in the past for spears in axe, because we are using axe weapon tables across the board. Spears and lances have the impact, and polearms. They have the impact trait. So that means if you use them as part of a charge or defending against the charge, they get to add an extra weapon die of damage. So he likes to charge, and he's going to do it. So that's going to be a +3 to the roll. And if it hits, we'll just add an extra d6. Oh, he very much hits. Wait a minute. Isn't it dead? She did 9, he did 11. It's fucking dead. So I didn't even add the extra... Oh, fuck, I did a d8 again. Ah, fuck. Okay. Why? I could have sworn we changed... Why does that keep changing? I could have sworn Yeah, I don't know. Alright, we're gonna re-roll. So it's 1d6 plus 1, and then another d6. I am keeping the natural 19, though. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. Okay, so it's d6, so that's 9. Yeah, +3, so 9. And so basically I just need to roll a 2 or higher on this second one. Alright, it's dead. Done. And that's it for the Fire Drake. Probably I should have had Bellany do a minor exploit. To like clip its wing or something so it fell down, or, you know, something like that. But it's alright, we got it. So that was a 4 hit dice monster with... Oh, there's the pyrophoric blood. Okay, he does have to roll against that. That I'm not going to cost luck, but he does have to roll a luck dex to avoid it. Terrible failure. He's not going to reroll, so he takes 1d3 damage from fiery blood splashing on him. Alright. It's a 4 hit dice monster with 1 special ability, we'll say. I think that's about... Well, he does have the blood. Dude, you gave him the blood, so... Fuck it, he has 2 special abilities. And... that means he's going to be worth... 135... 190. Also, we get a short rest. Alright, success for Bruce. Yeah, it's just hit points. Or, yeah, just hit points. Okay. Bellany. She got a great success. I'd like her to get luck back, but she really does need the hit points, so... Yeah, she just not... Yeah, it wasn't great. Also, I really should have picked up a healer's kit. Except neither of us have apothecary. We probably should have hired an apothecary. Alright, it is what it is. We got him. What did we find? Amidst the bones is a scroll of lightning bolt. Okay, I suppose we will grab that. That is worth 150 XP. But now that's it, and that's the end of the cave, so now we're going to go back. I think technically... I don't know, are we saying that this area also has really fragile floor? I don't think so. He fucking sleeps on this section, so no. He's got to weigh a lot, right? A 4 hit dice Fire Drake? A 4 hit dice Dragon weighs 1,500 pounds, so don't give me that shit. Alright, but we do have to make the same thing. It's a lot of rolls. We're probably gonna fall. Someone's gonna fall. And our Lux Dex is not gonna be great. But alright. First round, 4 rounds. So first round for Bellany, 25 or under. Fine. Bruce, fine. Second round, Bellany, fine. Bruce, bad. Alright, so he finally hears the cracking floor. And he rolls Luck Dex. This... that's a little harsh, I think. But it's a trap, technically. It's an environmental effect. Yeah, I guess it probably should count. Alright, he rolled a 1. He's down to 8 luck, though. It's not great. So he catches on, which somehow doesn't cause other floor to collapse. Maybe he doesn't catch. Maybe he literally just hops off nimbly before it collapses. Third round, Bellany. Fine. Bruce. Barely fine. And fourth round, Bellany. Fine. Bruce. Not fine. Bruce collapses again. Rolls luck again. Fails. I could re-roll. The player wouldn't necessarily know that it's a 15-foot drop. You know, they might think that it drops 1,000 feet to their death. Could we see into the hole, though, because we have the lantern? Yes, of course we could. It's only 15 feet deep. So she would have seen that it's not that bad. Would we have seen the shield sitting down there? That seems somewhat unlikely. I'm going to give Bellany a roll. She needs a great success. She didn't get it. So, no, she saw maybe bodies down there, but not a shield. Bruce is not going to waste a reroll on a 15-foot drop. Although, we're right near the entrance. It shouldn't be too hard to tie a rope up to get him back up here. Or he could maybe just climb up. I want that +1 shield. That's what I'm telling you. So he's going to take damage. 2d6 falling damage. He takes 7 from that, which is not pleasant, but it is what it is. Alright, so he plummets down. Bellany is going to go over here and try and find a way to tie a rope somewhere. Or really just have, like, her and... Maybe she just has the mule, like, put it in its mouth and then runs the rope down so he can climb. But while he's down there, he loots the bodies. He finds the diamond nose stud. And he finds the +1 shield. So we're just going to take this shield. We're going to upgrade it to +1. And this music is like... It's like fuck music or something. What the hell, man? He used to do some, like, darker things, right? Why is this all just so whimsical all the time? There you go. And I'm just gonna put the nose stud in the cart. So we won't keep track of that. That's a diamond nose stud worth 45 XP. But the shield, the +1 shield is worth its apparent value, which is 660. So that's a big bunch of XP. Anytime you find a magic item, it's so juicy. Which is not at all what it is in OSE, but it's great. Excellent. So he's back up to 19 AC. We're out of the cave. And that's it. So now... we have to... I don't remember the time. I don't remember how much time we spent. The time we spent in there was pretty slim, right? I mean, I guess we spent maybe like 10 minutes. Because we were going pretty slowly back and forth. I don't remember how much time we've spent. 2 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. I think we have a couple hours of daylight. So we can probably travel a bit into this hex. So I will roll one more random encounter for the daylight. 39 is going to be... probably the travelers again. No, it's a cave. A small cave just big enough for a party of 4 or 5 to squeeze into for the night. Mark on map for future reference. Yes, I would do that if I could mark my map. Well, that's perfect, because we're ending the night. Okay. That's going to give us a nice big bonus on the random encounter roll. And also just, like, narratively, it's a good place, except we could be kind of cornered in here. But still, we're in here. Rations. Here's a great time to test my house rule. We're going to have Trixie eat the iron ration because we don't like her. The other two are going to be eating standard rations. I guess he could roll wilderness lore for foraging, but I don't want him to get sick again. Alright, so he recovers 2 hit points, and they can each roll a will for a short rest. He rolled a 20, terrible. He could reroll. Would he trade a reroll for more health? How much health would he get on that? 4. A reroll for 4 hit points. Well, for a reroll for a chance at 4 hit points. Yeah, he really needs the hit points. Yes. Okay, he can recover 4. And then Bellany has an even worse chance. Nope. Alright. Well, I think we can conclude it's probably not too overpowered, because most characters are... It's like a 50-50 chance of succeeding, so it's not really guaranteed. And if you don't have a mule and cart, it takes up a fuck ton of space to bring standard rations. And if you do bring a cart, well, it gets complicated. I mean, there's drawbacks to bringing the cart and the mule. Especially if you're going into like a jungle or a forest or something, then it's basically impossible, I think. You can only move through deserts, mountains, forests, or swamps if a road is available. Yeah. Right. That's generally unlikely. You know, most forests and swamps don't have roads available. So, that's a lot of places you can't bring your nice big cart. You can still bring the mule, though. And a mule does have, what, 25 slots? It's not bad. You know, not bad. Alright, so now it's going to be the nighttime encounter check. I have to decide how much of a bonus I'm giving for being in this nice secluded cave. Probably pretty big. Let's say plus 40. Or minus 40. Okay, it's a 27, so we avoid trouble tonight. Excellent. The day passes, or the night passes. New day. We are in this hex, so we're going to be searching now for M. So, usual stuff. 13 or higher. Nope. Random encounter check. 78. That is going to be 1d3 giant bats out in the daytime. One giant bat. Do I have... I do have a bat table. Let's roll on it. 48. Oh no, it's a D30 roll for this one, sorry. 23. Giant bat 23. Stunning their robber fly prey with subsonic chirps. I don't even know how to interpret that one. I don't know what a robber fly is. 28. Used as mounts for lamp oil flinging kobolds. Oh my god. I would do that, but it's only one bat. So it just doesn't really make much sense. Unless we just kind of, it's one insane kobold, which would be a very fun encounter for a group. They just see one mad kobold cackling up there, riding a giant bat and throwing military oil on him. 8. Drinking greedily from a water seeping. Okay. That could be something, but it's one giant bat. Like, there isn't really any situation where one bat attacks the group of us. Because one bat is not that large. I don't think it could just pick up the mule and fly away. It's not like a chimera or something. It's just a giant bat. 75-pound giant bat is not lifting the mule. Maybe if if we had a halfling or something, it might try to grab it off the horse, but what's the reaction roll? 3? It is pretty negative, but I don't know if I could come up with a situation here. No. Which is why it's not a very good encounter table, I would say, overall. Because it's like, unless the point is just to have combat. It just says this large and fearsome predator swoops down out of the night sky. Which means it's not a random encounter, you already have the encounter picked. And he does. He has one giant bat swoop down out of the night sky and attack you. Yeah, I don't care for that at all. I'm tempted to ignore the random encounters and just use axe. But there are some aspects here, this stuff, like where you can encounter Crink and Flink. He's got some that are just like like, you know, things you find. Like a cave, finding a cave. That's not going to be on the axe list. But yes, a lot of this is just, the numbers just don't make any sense. One hill giant, sure. One Zorn, sure. Maybe even 1d2 ogres, sure. But like, yeah, 1d3 giant bats. Any of these that come up 1 are just kind of ridiculous. Or just really easily ignored. So, yeah, whatever. Alright, second hour of searching. Nope. 57 is going to be a battle scene again. So we've had another battle scene. Great, they're all over the place. Third hour of searching. No. 27 is nothing. Fourth hour of searching. No. 62 is Crink and Flink. The half-orc brothers are out hunting. If they spot the party first, they attempt to avoid contact altogether. If this is not possible, they approach the party with great caution. If they spot the party first, generally there isn't any spotting first out here in the hills, I would imagine. I would think it'd be really unlikely. I could do a group perception check, though, which is the easiest way to handle it. Success from her, but not a great success, so if he fails, it's a no-go. Alright. So, no, Crink and Flink spot them first, and they attempt to avoid contact altogether. So they duck behind a hill, and we don't even ever notice them. Which is sort of lame if I wanted to introduce them to the party. In that case, you know, I might give them... Now I don't know what I would really... I mean, they didn't see him, they failed. Maybe then, like, I would say, okay, like, 10 minutes later you spot some footprints in the ground nearby, or, you know, something like that, I don't know. But, yeah, okay. So that was the fifth hour of searching. We got it. And 43 is going to be an obstruction. Fallen rocks, cliffside, dead trees, etc. Characters must go out of their way and lose 1 hour of travel. I thought this was just, like, lightly forested hills and shit. How does that work? Perhaps I don't understand what lightly forested hills are. I mean, it says high, jagged hills, but that doesn't paint a picture in my head. Are they hills, or are they, like, badlands or something? What is a jagged hill? A flurry of rocks come tumbling down the hillside. Are these cliffs or something? I don't picture that. I can't picture this at all. So I don't know. I'm gonna ignore that one because that throws me all the way off. All right, but we find M finally, the big stupid giant. Is the mega dungeon even out here? Is it K? The Grimlock Caves? It's not Crink and Flink. Oh, it's H. Oh god, we're not even close. Yeah. It's H, the caves above the city of Barakus. Oh man, we're not even close. Okay, so we find the big stupid giant, which is its own cave. For the past several years, a particularly stupid and lazy hill giant named Bran Bolton has lived in relative peace in a huge cave in the northeast of the Duskmoon Hills. Recently, a goblin witch doctor named Fazoot has arrived to live with the giant and his orc lackeys. Fazoot has some plans for his powerful master, plans that might eventually involve the party. Oh god, why don't I look at what the thing is? I said I was going to do that. I said if it was really obvious, we would just find it. This is obvious, so ignore all that stuff that happened. It's still like 7 a.m. The entrance to Bran Bolton's cave is pretty hard to miss, being a gaping 30-foot wide, 15-foot high opening in the hillside. Bran Bolton fashioned this opening himself, widening one that had already existed back when this was an ogre's lair. A single orc stands guard outside the cave day and night. Fazoot has given him strict instructions not to fight, but to run and get Bran Bolton at the first sign of trouble. Okay. Again, I guess it's not apparently just like empty plains, except the fact that we would just see this automatically suggests that it's a fairly open area, but maybe it's sort of up on a ridge or something, I don't know. So I suppose we could spot this orc before he spots us. Let's roll, I guess we'll be rolling stealth. We're not trying to be super stealthy, but it's really more of a luck roll, I guess. But we'll do it as a group stealth check, which is not going to be great. Alright, great success, so we automatically succeed. Because even if he rolls, unless he rolls a terrible failure, which he could. He very well could. No, he succeeded as well. Alright. We also have the cart and the mule and Trixie and stuff, but this is quite at a distance, so the sound isn't going to be much of an issue. So we'll be nice and say that we do spot this ridge, and we see an orc standing above, in front of it. And we're in the lightly forested section. Okay, well, we know orcs apparently were inhabitants of the caves or something that we're looking for. Something like that. We heard something about that. So this seems like a good enough bet. We could go chat with the orc, but that's not our style, is it? So instead, she's going to shoot. She has to be within 120 feet to not have a penalty. And we don't want a penalty. Well, she'll shoot from stealth, so she'll have advantage. 240 might be acceptable. Alright, 240 feet. That's pretty far. It's pretty damn far. I guess we're going to go to the Oracle then. Is 240 feet from this cave and the orc, is that still within the tree line? No, so she's going to have to emerge from the tree line a little bit, which is going to require a stealth check. So... well, actually, she gets +3, I forgot. She practically can't fail. Alright, great success. So she kind of ducks behind some rocks and things like that and approaches 240 feet away, still is oblivious. So she's going to roll. So she gets -1 on the roll overall, but she has advantage. 19 for 5 damage. That is a snipe. Okay, so the orc, takes an arrow through the neck and tumbles down the hillside. Good job. Good job, Bellany. Bellany has been amazing, right? And I thought she was going to be shit for some reason, just because I could always say, what the fuck, Bellany? But that just didn't, she ended up being amazing. So I guess I do say, what the fuck, Bellany, but in a good way. Alright. We're going to leave the mule and the cart in the tree line, which is fairly far, but it's a safer spot. And Trixie's going to be coming with to carry the lantern. And we're going to enter. The ceiling of this massive cave stretches 30 feet above the cave floor, which itself is strewn with bones, dirt, offal, and assorted broken and useless junk. A large fire pit, currently unused, dominates the center of the cave. Brand Bolton spends most of his time here. He lounges against the western wall, chewing on a calf leg, while two orcs play a game of dice in the southeastern corner. See area M1. Oh, for stats, you mean. Okay. No, what? What? Oh, or maybe the fact that they run and get Brand Bolton at the first sign of trouble. Neither Brand Bolton nor the orcs are particularly clever. At the first sign of intruders, either by warning from the guard in M1 or their arrival in this cave, the orcs and Brand Bolton grab their weapons and charge into combat. If possible, Brand Bolton lobs a few rocks first. Otherwise, he simply wades in with his club. The orcs fight as long as Brand Bolton remains standing. Brand Bolton has 42 hit points and a 15 AC, and he swings for 2d8 damage. This is not going to go well. We'll need to come up with something clever. I do have a poisonous snake, which is an advantage. But the poison, the giant rockfish poison, is almost certainly our best bet. So stealth is going to be the highest priority. I don't typically have Bellany go ahead without knowing what the situation is. Usually Bruce just leads the charge. This would be a situation where Bellany would be better off going ahead. But that would kind of be meta knowledge because I've never done it before. So it's really going to be just a group stealth check again to see if we sort of walk in. I mean, we're walking in cautiously and slowly and stuff, but it seems like a fairly open thing. So it might just be that they're not paying attention, which gives us maybe an opportunity. But Bruce is kind of clumsy and noisy. So again, group stealth. Again, she's very likely to get a great success, which, as long as he doesn't get a terrible failure, we're okay. She did. But he got a terrible failure. So unless he can't reroll, so no, we're fucked. He stumbles and makes too much noise. Or he doesn't even have to stumble, really. His armor's just kind of clanking a little bit. Stealth isn't really our strong suit. So, the orcs over here playing dice suddenly look up, and then Brand Bolton over here chewing on a calf leg turns around and sees us, and it's like, oh shit. And they start grabbing their weapons. We either have to run because we see a fucking ogre, who I imagine could move faster than us. So if he was going to chase after us and sprint down and kill us, he'll almost certainly succeed. I don't see winning this without the rockfish poison. I lost characters before in this campaign by not running when I should have ran. So I guess we'll run. Except, like I said, I think he can outrun us if he's inclined to run, to chase us. But it does say that he's as lazy as he is stupid, and he mostly relies on the orcs to bring him food. So if we run, he might say, oh, go get him, you know, and he is faster. He's 40 feet, we're 30 feet, so he is faster than us if he chased us down. But I'm taking heart to this idea that he's as lazy as stupid. He has zero ambition, quite happy to lounge about his cables, orcs bring him food, and generally look after him. So yeah, if we're running away, it sounds like he's not really interested in running after. But I suppose the orcs will chase. They're the same speed as us. I'm almost certain they're the same speed as us. No, they're also 40 feet. Okay. They're just better. They're just better than us. They're more muscular. They're more athletic. They keep in shape. Damn it, Bruce. Gnolls are the same speed. Goblins are slower. Hobgoblins are the same speed. Kobolds are slower. And orcs are the only ones faster. Alright, then that's fine, I guess. They'll chase after us. They're not that much faster, but they are, 33% faster? So eventually they will catch up, but I think at a certain point... Yeah, I mean, we have the lead on them by, like, 10, say here, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 feet. It's not much. They gain 20 feet per round. So I guess a couple rounds in, they're going to catch up to us. So Bellany's going to turn and fire her bow, and Bruce will just, brace and hope that we win initiative. So I'll give her a free shot with her bow against one of them. That is a hit, and that is a kill. They have 13 AC, 4 hit points, 6 hit points, so either way, one of them drops. The other one's going to roll morale then. Well, let's roll initiative first. Fail, of course. He's going to roll morale. I don't know, 12. Okay, he succeeded. So he's going to charge Bruce. Is he going to charge? What do we get for it being a charge? Oh, just, yeah, used against a charge. I don't know. I guess Axe does have rules for bracing. Could have sworn there was something like that. I guess he could have readied an action, but I didn't give him a turn. Ready to attack against charge. That's if you make a ready to attack, then you get the extra. Yeah, okay. All right, that's fine. So he didn't do that. So yes, the guy's going to charge. He gets +2 to the roll. He already has +1 to the roll. So +3 against Bruce. He misses wildly. We get to go. Bruce will counterattack for +1. Miss. Of course. Bruce always misses. Longbow. That's a hit, and that's a kill, so Bellany once again saves his bacon. Alright, and we notice that the hill giant doesn't follow, which we take note of, to say the least. Okay. I mean, we get a little bit of XP. I guess I could have recorded. It's 20 XP, but whatever. Okay. So we know the hill giant is still in there. Don't know why I didn't follow, but I know why I didn't follow. And so now we're going to prepare. So she's going to use 3... that wasn't a significant combat. We're going to use 3 doses of the poison. So we're going to dose 3 arrows. And now she's going to sneak in. Do hill giants have lightless vision? Giant hill. Yes, they do. Do orcs have lightless vision? I feel like I already know the answer. Yes. So there are no lights in there because they don't need it. Which means it's going to be tricky for her to land the shot in the dark. He's a big target. He's kind of hard to miss. So if she can hear him kind of munching on something, she has a decent odds, but it's not great. I assume light's not going to go too far from the outside, but it is a massive opening. 30 feet wide, 15 foot high. I think he might be in dim light then. I wouldn't be surprised. Except that is like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150 feet back there. No, he lounges against the western wall. That's trickier. Well, it's more likely to see him, but then he's a lot closer. He moves pretty fast, as we already discussed. Was he 40 as well? He was 40 as well, so he can clear 80 feet in a round. I don't think our characters would really know that, but say, let's see, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. If she fails initiative after ambushing him, he can charge her in one turn. Possibly just killing her. Damn risky. Damn risky indeed. But ambushing him with the poison is probably our best plan, compared to just walking in and fighting him and hoping the poison hits him. So I guess we're going to risk it. Bruce is going to be right outside the cave entrance, along with Trixie. And Bellany's going to sneak in and hopefully land this shot. So she's going to roll stealth with +3. Barely succeeded. Okay, but, well, actually it is against his perception. I imagine he's not super perceptive. He's pretty dumb. Nine perception. All right, we'll roll for him. He succeeded by 1. I succeeded by 1. So, re-roll. I succeeded by 9. He succeeded by 2. So, all right, we're good. All right, she sneaks in. She sees him. He's still munching on the thing and wondering, well, we don't know what he's wondering, but he's definitely still munching absentmindedly. So now she's going to roll the bow. +1 and with advantage. Oh, that's bad. He has 15 AC, so she missed. And she fired one of the arrows. That's terrible. I can't re-roll that. I can't do anything. This was supposed to be a hit that I was going to make into a crit. But we got nothing. So the arrow just kind of bounces off like, I don't know, like some of his leather armor or something he's wearing. Yeah, some brace, or he moved his arm or something at the wrong moment. So now we have to roll initiative. She failed because of course she did. Fuck it. Alright, that is what it is. So he immediately is going to charge her. He could lob a boulder instead, I suppose. Alright, I guess he'll throw a boulder. That's 3d6 damage. If it hits. Which is a little different than the 2d8. Yeah, but I'll stick with axe. So, yeah, he's gonna roll plus fucking 8 hit dice, man. Yeah, it means he gets to roll +8 on his roll. This is really bad. He's almost certainly dead. Alright, so +8 on the roll. Oh my god, he rolled an 11. He cocked it. Slams against the wall. Oh, thank god. Alright, so he'll move 40 feet closer then. She probably should just run 60 feet out to back to Bruce. But she could shoot. And then move 30 feet. He's 80 feet away. So he can still charge her, but if Bruce moves in now, he could intercept the charge. So she's going to take the shot. she hit. And she actually did roll max damage, so making it a crit would only add 2 damage, so we'll stick with it. Alright, so she used a second rockfish arrow. She did 9 damage, which brings him down to 33. And now, after 1 round, it's going to do 5d6 damage. I'm not quite sure when that's calculated. You know. It's not instant, which would be right now when I'd roll it. It's 1 round time, which could be just the start of 1 round later, or it could be, I don't know, because initiative changes, so it has to be something like that, right? Hold on. This video's getting a little longer than I wanted, but I'm going to check the Discord just to see if I can find an answer for that. Wrong Discord. No. I have to make a ruling here. There's no way to do, like... There's no way to do 1 full round later. Unless you say that 1 full round has to have passed with the poison in his system. Which I suppose is the most sensible way to do it. So 1 full round of combat has to pass with the poison in his system before it activates. So we have to pass this round. So she moves 30 feet back. Bruce moves, 30 or 60 feet, whatever, right in front of her. Or a little bit in front of her. And now we're going to do a new initiative, which is going to be Bruce. I mean, Bruce will never, ever, ever succeed on initiative. As long as he is alive, he will never succeed. So the giant is going to charge him with his big club, which means you get plus 10 to the roll. So he has to roll 8 or under to not flatten Bruce. We might be splintering this shield. Oh yeah, I had that other shield. Did I pay to get that repaired? I probably would have. That's right, I thought I was going to do that. And I think I instead just bought another I don't know what I did. Okay, well, I definitely paid to have it repaired. He has the gold for that. It was 660. It's half of the masterwork. So 650 plus 10. So 660. 330. Yeah, he'll spend all his gold to have that repaired. He's not even using it now, but he might be in a second. Alright, so he charges. Right, 8 or under, he misses. Otherwise, he hits. He hits. Okay, so it's going to be 3d6 damage. No, 2d8 damage. And then he has to succeed on a paralysis saving throw or be knocked prone and forced back a number of feet equal to the damage dealt. Jesus. Okay, so 2d8. 13. Do I want to splinter my shield over that? Assuming that I'll also be flung... What? How much? 13 feet back. That's not too bad. He can just get back up and get back into the position. Well, no, he'll be prone and forced back. He'll basically lose his whole turn to get back into position. I might splinter. The magic shield still provides its AC if I splinter. It just can't be re-splintered until I have it repaired. Although to have a +1 magic shield repaired sounds quite fucking expensive. But still, I mean, it'll still function. It's just can't be re-splintered. It's probably worth it. This says at a cost of 50 gold. Obviously, that's way too little. It needs to be way more than that. I mean, if we count it as like an actual axe +1 magic shield, and half the price goes to the repair, Jesus. A lot. The answer is a lot. Even if I say that half the base cost, it's 2,500 gold. Is that worth it? Maybe not for a while, but eventually it would be. So, yeah, we're paying a price. This is pretty much a one-time thing. But he's going to splinter it. Oh, does he actually lose the +1? Oh, he does lose the plus. So now it's basically just a shield. Oh, fuck. Well, we still have the masterwork, which is essentially the same thing. Okay. Damn, but okay. Maybe I wouldn't have done it, but it's done. All right, we get to go. He's at 35 hit points. No. No, he was at 42 minus 9. 42 minus 9 would be 33 hit points. Bruce will counterattack with the spear, and we're hoping for some major exploits here, I think. Well, it's hard to say. Okay. So another 7 brings him down to 26 hit points. I could pocket sand, but I think there's going to be a penalty to a lot of major exploits based on his height. He is probably not too dexterous, though, so pocket sand might still be good. He's got an 8 dex, but Bruce doesn't have great dex either. Strength versus strength, though, we're at a very bad position. There isn't many things I can do otherwise as a major exploit, or a minor exploit. Major exploit isn't an opposed check, so it's theoretically easier, but I'd have to spend more luck, and I don't want to do that. So we're just going to try for pocket sand. There isn't really much else I could do, you know? Like, maybe slash out, like, his Achilles or something. Well, even then. Or maybe just, like... I guess there's a few things maybe I could do, but it's mostly going to be strength. So, I guess we'll try to do pocket sand. I'm going to give it a -4 on the roll. Because he's really tall. He's 12 feet tall. It's hard to get any sand up there, but... we'll try. Alright, he rolled a 19. We failed. Alright, Bellany is going to shoot him with her longbow. Of course. Of fucking course, man. She's just insane. Okay, he was at 26. He's down now to... she basically crit again. He's down to 17. And she rolls a natural 19, D12. She rolls a 6 on the missile table. Rapid shot. Struck by 2 missiles instead of 1. Roll damage twice. Good lord. That's always applicable. What did I say he was at? He was at 26, so he's at 17. She rolls another D6 plus 3. 5. So now he's at 12. We'll have Writhe go over to his toe and bite him. Hit. So he's at 9 plus 1d8 poison. 6. He's at 3. And now, no matter what, even if we lose initiative, the poison will trigger. Unless he succeeds on his save, then he still will have 3 hit points. We failed. We never succeed on initiative. This is crazy, man. All right, so now he has to roll the save versus the poison. Which is +1. So it's a luck con +1. Okay, we can get this. I mean, it's probably pretty good. He probably has pretty good odds. Does that mean he takes no damage? I guess he takes no damage, because that's how it'd work for a player, right? Yeah, he takes no damage. He just shrugs it off. Okay, so this could still be a problem for us. He has a 15 con, so it's +2. And he's an 8 hit dice monster, which is a lot. So he has 9. So 11 or under, he does not take any damage from the poison. All right, he shrugs it off. It was a waste. Unless... Well, even if I had shot him again, and I guess I would have shot him again with another poison, that's not going to trigger for another turn. Or another round. But he does have to certainly make a morale check. Probably with a pretty hefty penalty, I gotta be honest. He's at 3 hit points. So this isn't good for him. His will is 12. I'm putting a -4 penalty on it because he is at death's door. I guess it could necessarily make him fight harder. And he is dumb. Hard to say, really. Alright, a -2. So 10 or under, he'll keep fighting. He did. So he really just wants to smash Bruce. Smash Bruce's face in. So he's going to just raise his big club up and smash it back down. So again, D20 +8. He misses. Good lord. Okay, that's good. Then we counterattack. And Bruce finally does something. He slays the giant. He takes all the credit. He stabs him in the dick. Then he falls over and like, ah, look what I've done. Yeah, well, we give it to Bruce for splintering 2 shields so he doesn't die. It's becoming a common theme. But, okay, we're gonna equip this thing now, which is non-splintered. Back to 19 for now. Well, that was probably worth a hefty amount of XP. 600. Very nice. Jeez. That was scary, man. The poison didn't end up doing anything, unfortunately. That is the problem when facing really big stuff. Like, they're honestly fairly likely to just shrug it off. And then the smaller stuff we wouldn't even waste it on. So it's not a perfect solution. But if we had more distance on him and we could have pumped him full of it 3 or 4 times from a distance before he got to us, yeah, it would have certainly probably hurt. Although he probably would have lobbed a bunch of rocks at us. Alright. Okay, I think... So apparently the Goblin Witch Doctor is in the cave? He's over in, Wait, what? It doesn't even have a number? Oh no, it's M5. Okay. So it's over here. I mean, I feel like he would have heard something. Like he would have heard like like his body hitting the ground would be this big smash. I mean, he'd throw a boulder. Like he certainly must have heard this. He probably should have joined the fight at a certain point. But maybe, oh, he did. He does have invisibility. So maybe he would cast that, but it says he would cast it if near death. Okay, then let's assume that once the first commotion was heard, maybe not when the orcs mentioned something, but probably when that boulder hit the wall, it was like, oh shit, like the whole place kind of shook a little bit. Then he probably snuck around and looked out here and saw us fighting a big giant, you know, and then okay, he sees the giant go down. That probably pisses him off quite a bit. Basically, he's the little goblin witch doctor that wants to convince the giant to carry out his schemes to rob people. But the hill giant was really lazy and stupid. So now, yeah, I mean, I don't think he'd really fight us. I think he probably should have joined the fight. But it's hard to say. I don't think, like, if we killed the fucking giant, he'd have to be damn confident in his own abilities. I don't know. I just don't see it. I think he's probably, instead of using invisibility near death, he's probably going to go invisible now as we start entering the cave. And then he's probably going to use Charm Person from his invisibility, which I think will break his invisibility, but he's hoping that it'll succeed and then they can just blast apart Bellany. You know, he sees Bruce and he probably thinks he's big and dumb, which he sort of is. But, yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. So noticing the invisible goblin is going to be pretty tricky. He's going to have a pretty good stealth roll, I think. Probably advantage. Alright, we'll give him advantage with, like, I don't know, a 13 dex. Alright, 13 dex. So we start entering, we start looking around. Bellany, okay, his roll then is, okay. He's not super used to being stealthy while invisible, I guess. Or maybe steps on a little bit of water, who knows what. Hard to say, but he got a +2. We're going to roll a individual perception check. She succeeded by 7, so she notices. Bruce also succeeded by 3. Okay, that's enough. Yeah, okay. So they both kind of know. So he must have, like, stepped on a puddle or something. It sounds like a little footprint, a little foot stepping in the water. What would we do? Fuck it. I know what we do. She throws the military oil. She's gonna throw it, like, right in front of that puddle. Yeah. So she's not throwing it at him, almost certainly, unless she maybe crits or something. It's gonna be in the general vicinity. So... we'll do it this way. She'll just roll, and if it hits his AC, she'll do like 1d4 damage to him. And she'll just sort of singe him and stuff. Okay. So, I mean, it's basically just a perception attack roll. So, d20 plus 3. All right, she rolled an 11. He already cast shield on himself. We counted that. Which means that he has actually pretty good protection. It would have hit if he hadn't, because he only has 10 AC. But if we count that as what the arcane armor is or whatever, I think he's got pretty good protection. Yeah, AC 7 against missile attacks. If we want to count as a missile attack, I guess it sort of is. But it's also sort of just a splash attack. We'll count it, I suppose. Although it seems like it'd probably be... Well, it says weightless and invisible suit of armor, but I feel like the effect might be visible as like a shimmer of magical energy. Well, either way, she used the military oil. He didn't take any damage. And I don't think we have a great idea of where he is. So I don't think we're going to be able to avoid... I have no other plan. Well, he could throw up Aura of Sanctuary before something else happens. We're going to assume these are evil fucks. It was a hill giant. Hill giants are evil. They're chaotic. So yeah, he's going to throw up Aura of Sanctuary on us. Just as the goblin is going to cast Charm, or Beguile Humanoid on Bruce, which means he has to succeed on a luck will roll. And his will is probably not too terrible. He's technically a level 3 magic user, so we'll give him the level 3 number for luck, which is 6, and I'll give him a +2 for his will. +1. All right, +1. 7 or under, he is able to attack. He crit failed, so he blew the spell. He also became visible because he made an attack action or cast a spell. It just fizzles. So, he's now visible. He lost his action, and we go into combat. Come on, Bruce. Win an initiative. Yes! Finally! Yes! Bruce is going to charge the fuck out of this little shit. +3 on the roll. Crit! Oh my god in heaven. 10 damage. Plus another d6 for charging. Another 6! Oh my god, he just skewers this thing against the wall. Just... Oh, yes, Bruce. Bruce. This is why we love him. Couldn't really do much of anything to the hill giant, but this little goblin decimated. Okay, well, we'd also technically get hit XP for that. For a 3 hit dice. Well, it's a plus. He's got spell casting at least, so 100 XP for that. And basically we can just search this cave. I don't think there's really much else in it other than treasure. So we find a... Yeah, he doesn't really have anything on it. It says Broom of Flying. We'll get to that. It's probably in his little cave, though. Potable water in the water cave. Bran Bolton's chamber. Huge pile of furs. Besides which, there's a massive locked oak trunk. I have to imagine the key is on Bran Bolton, so we'll say we found that. We get a sack with 1,500 gold. Oh my god, 1,500. And we'll add that to our pile. of 1,670 gold. 3 matching ivory statuettes of dolphins worth 60 gold each. Okay, so that's 180. Ivory statuettes of dolphins. 60 gold each. Okay. Small-sized fur coat. 75 gold. That's another 75. A hand axe and a gold flute. Okay, well, we'll leave the hand axe. Although Bruce could take that. I still have a javelin I never used. But he's not doing too well on slots. I suppose we'll put that splintered shield +1. Put that in the cart for now. So he could take the hand axe. Alright, I'll take a hand axe. Yeah, I mean, if it comes up, he's mostly going to throw it for 1d6. Missile trauma, I don't even remember what it is. Maybe 1d12, I have no idea. That's pretty good. In his cave, we find the Brumafline and... we find a lock strong box. Again, the key's probably on his person. Containing 125 gold pieces and a potion of frozen concoction. What? Okay, well, let me just write this down. Frozen concoction. Don't even know what that is. And the Broom of Flying. The Orc Cave contains a few trunks, odd orcish personal belongings, some cash. I guess I'll take the 11 gold. Why not? The rug in this room, however, unbeknownst to the orcs or Brandbolden or Fazud, is actually a rug of levitation. The only clue to its value is the fact that it's in unusually good shape and a small inscription on the underside reading "Parp," meaning up. A meticulous search of the rug is necessary to locate the command word. Rug is similar to a 3-foot by 5-foot carpet of flying, except it mimics the second level magic user spell Levitate. So there's a rug of levitation in here, and a broom of flying. Would we recognize the rug has value? Well, yes. We would recognize that it has value. It's in an unusually good shape, so that means it's just an attractive-looking rug. It really ties the room together, you might say. And as I said before when we were doing that other dungeon, I treat adventurers as just having an intrinsic understanding of what things have value or not. So yes, this rug has value. Would I tell them it's magical? Not even remotely. They would have to use sense magic or something, or specifically ask if they sense magic coming from it, or they want to. I want to roll arcane lore on it, which is often what they do to bypass the use of sense magic. Although sense magic in Tales of Argosa, like I said, is usually like an area kind of effect. Like if I sense magic anywhere in this area, if they're focusing on a specific thing, it's sort of like a thief focusing on a specific spot to check for traps or something. It's just kind of like, okay, fine. So I usually let them roll arcane lore if they're asking about a specific object. So if they did ask it about the rug, and that's a tricky thing, because if you're describing the room and you specifically mention, oh yeah, there's also a big rug, large rug, it's in really good shape, unlike anything else, then that immediately draws a lot of attention to it. But again, I would just say, I would explain that by saying you can tell that it probably would fetch a nice price on the market. Like, it looks like a good rug. How much value does it have? Well, we might be able to answer that if we go to the Judge's Journal. We go to miscellaneous or magic items. And if they have the Carpet of Flying in here, we could see the... They don't. So, yeah, the apparent value for it would be unknown. Maybe under Mercantile Ventures, we might be able to find the value of, like, a nice rug, but I kind of doubt it. Textiles. That's not really what it is. It's not clothing. It's not really rare fur or anything. I'd have to just pick a value that I would say they could probably fetch for, because they get XP based on that, you know. Oh, magic carpet. There you go. Apparent value 3,000 gold. Okay, but that's a flying carpet. This is a levitation one, so it's way worse than that. Or it's way less valuable than that as far as apparent value. But okay, we have a baseline. So let me just check then as far as what level flight is versus levitation. Flight is a level 3 arcane spell, whereas levitation is a level 2 spell. So I could say 2,000 gold, but that would be giving them 2,000 XP for it. And that would be 2,000 XP for just something they never realize is magical. But they might question then that it's magical. It's a funky business, isn't it? I might ask ChatGPT on this one. How much would a fine... What's the size of this rug? 3 foot by 5 foot. 3 foot by 5 foot rug go for in a D&D setting? Like, how could it possibly know such a thing? Like, it's just gonna make something up, but I'm okay if it does. $25 gold. That seems so lowball, doesn't it? 15 gold. That can't be right, but I'll never find an answer in Axe for just the price of a rug. It's just a random thing. But I mean, like, a standard flag here is going for 50. A fine rug has to go for more than that. So again, this is where I just have to bite the bullet and pick a number. It's the only thing. So I'm gonna say 200. Nah, 200. No, it's a fine one. 250. I'm saying 250 and calling it a day. It does take up quite a few slots, though. How much would a rug like that weigh? Burning trees for no good reason. 20 pounds. Okay, we'll say 20 pounds. It's an ornate rug with a heavy weave, sure. So it takes up 2 slots, I guess. That's fine. Rug. 20... no, 2 slots. That's what I mean. Okay. Would we ever recognize that it's magical? Would we think to roll arcane lore on it? I'm going to say an oracle roll with disadvantage. Do we think to check for arcane lore? No, we don't. So as far as we're concerned, it's just a nice rug that we're going to throw in the cart. Fine. Done. Tricky, but done. Then that leaves the Broom of Flying. Again, I don't know if we would recognize that it's a magical broom or think that it... I mean, he wasn't riding it. So it's just sort of leaning against his wall. We probably would just ignore it, to be honest. Unless we're sensing magic, I don't know why we would think like, oh, look at this broom. So that might get left here. which does save me the trouble of trying to come up with a value for it. But if it's actually similar to a Carpet of Flying and it can just cast Flight for anyone riding it, I mean, it is extremely valuable. Like I said, I mean, Jesus. The Magic Carpet is valued at is a base cost of 76,000 gold pieces. I mean, that is a very fine thing. Like an absurdly valuable thing to just throw into a level like 2 region here. So, fuck it, we'll just leave it there. I still have to figure out this potion of frozen concoction, which that's a good question. What is that? It's only mentioned twice in the whole thing, and neither one is an explanation. So, no, I don't know what that is. Is this something that should exist? Well, it's in 5th edition. Okay, we could use 5th edition stats. Or I could check our Swords and Wizardry book. Nope, not anywhere in this book. Okay, great. God damn, stop it. Stop it. Throw it, the dex save, take 2d8 cold damage and is slowed for 1 round. Half the damage not slowed. Oh, if they took this from Rapana Thuk from Frog God Games. So they definitely did make this item up, they just didn't explain it here. What the hell? Unless I'm supposed to search for frozen concoction. No. Okay, so, alright, we'll treat it basically like military oil, but instead of fire, it's cold. So the same rules as military oil. We'll do 1d8 damage round 1. No, we'll just do it up front. We'll do 2d8 damage, so it's pretty brutal. But yeah, the dex save, which I guess is not normally how it works. That's not normally how military oil works. Uh, 1d8 immediately and another 1d8 in the same initiative count next round. Okay, so, alright, we'll change it so it doesn't work quite the same way, I suppose. It's 2d8 up front, but they get a luck dex save. For half damage and to avoid slow. And slow is definitely a thing that exists, right? No? No, there is no slow. There's encumbered. I guess you could make them encumbered, but that's not quite right. You could make them grabbed and work like a glue pot, essentially. Or you could make them... That's probably about it. Or where you just say they're slowed and they have half movement, which is not outrageous at all. They don't do that because they don't track specific movement numbers. Instead, it's just moving close or not. But I still feel like there's some things that say half normal, so I don't know why you wouldn't just say, hey, I have half normal speed. Alright, that's the rule. That's what it does. I need an apparent value for this thing. Just based on, it's, okay, it's 25 gold. Alright, they're all 25 gold. Fair, done, fair. Okay. That was a pretty good haul then. I think that's going to tick down our torch for a bit while we were looking through there. But yes, we searched the place. We got a good amount of loot. I think if we went back home now, we'd probably level up. Although we did go back at some point, and I probably could have gotten the XP then. We only need like 1,600. So yes, the 1,500 thing, very much a level up. What did I get 1,500 XP for? What the hell did I get 1,500 XP for? Oh, the sack. Okay, so yeah, we just got that. Yeah, okay, so it's hard to say. And we got 600 XP for the giant, right? So, yeah, we probably would have leveled up if this was last time. Before we went, I don't know. It's fine. So, are we going to go back? Probably not. We're still in pretty good shape. So, yeah, I mean, we cleared this out, and that's all well and good, but this whole section is apparently the hills, right? So we have to go all the way over here and go here, and it's... If we had just followed the fucking road, we'd basically end up at that cave and be fine. But I don't know how our characters would know that, unless we were told that. But no one knows the exact location of those caves. I think? What was the thing? The caves and the hills were once home to a band of orcs who were driven from their lair by the forces of Endhome. Maybe Jimmy Dean would have known the hills, because he told us that thing. Maybe we could have saved a lot of time had I just been told that. Like, if you just keep following the Fool's Pass road, this road past the river, you should see the caves to the north. That's possible that it could have saved us some time. But it's way too late for that now, so we have to assume we didn't hear that. So yeah, it's just going to be a lot of wandering around Duskmoon Hills for a while, unless I want to hand wave it just so we can get to the place, but... Not really? Yeah, we do have a lot of... We don't have a lot of treasure, I guess, really. We have, like, a bunch of gold, some statuettes, a fur coat. Why did I write gold axe? That's not what it was. It's gold flute. I think I just had axe in there because I was reading about the hand axe. And the gold flute, and the rug. So, yeah, and we're not short on food, and we're not doing too bad on health or anything, so I don't see why we'd go back. So we'll keep going. I mean, next time. I gotta end this video. And then we'll probably go over to K and search for that, and then we'll probably go to J and search for that, and then we'll probably go, like, here and search for nothing, which I don't know how you adjudicate that as a DM, because as a DM, every hex has to have something in it so they can find it. Or you just tell them there's nothing, I don't know. Or you don't say anything and the players just keep searching. But eventually they succeed on the roll and you just have to say, yeah, there's nothing here. I guess that's it. Once they succeed, you say there's nothing there. And then we go here and then we go here. So this is like the last place we'll end up. Alright, great. Alright, good stuff. I mean, good progress. Nobody died. Shields were splintered. Blood was shed. But, yeah, good progress. Level 3 would be very nice. But, yeah... Technically, you could argue if we make it back to Jimmy Dean's, that's a safe, civilized spot, and we could level up, but I don't know, that's debatable. It is what it is. It is what it is. My name is Mang. This has been Solo Roll Manging. I'll see you fine folks in the next part.